It worked on the Yes! Hi!
Hey! It's been so long.
I know! How have you been?
I've been doing better. Yeah, I can't complain. Everything's going way better. Had a rough start to the new year because I had a loss in the family, like a huge loss. But other than that, everything else is is so much better, and I can't complain. I'm super, living gratitude. I'm in gratitude, and yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the loss, but I'm glad that, you're doing better.
Yes, thank you, my friend. How are you?
Good. Good. Busy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
as you know.
Yeah.
So I've been doing my podcast. I've been working on a new screenplay and editing.
Oh wow. Oh wow. How awesome. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, for those just coming on, this is Hot Take Tuesday live on a Wednesday. So this is my little Instagram show that I do live where I talk about a movie with a wonderful guest, and we just dive into all of it, spoilers and all. So just letting you guys know, there will be spoilers. And today, we're going to be talking about A Promising Young Woman. Now, before we dive into that, okay, at that 2020 psychological thriller, I want to introduce my lovely guest today, Natalie.
Hey, everyone.
She is a talented, awesome actress.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's in theater. And you write too, right?
I want to write, but I also sing as well. So,
oh my God.
Musical theater.
And sing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Are you going to give us a little something right now? Or no, it's okay. It's okay. I would never put you on the spot like that. I'm joking, but
I can towards the end. I just have to think of something to say.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So, and you guys know me, writer, director, producer, my own show, Zombie Chronicles, that you guys can watch on Amazon Prime or Tubi, and my podcast, Real Movie Lovers, REL, on Instagram, Spotify, all the fun things. But I want to get into this movie. All right. Okay, so A Promising Young Woman. All right, 2020 psychological. I saw it in theaters with my sister and one of my best friends.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And my friend Fahad was there, and Aurora. Like, it was a whole group thing. Like, it was amazing.
Okay. How exciting. Yeah. Yeah, the way I saw it was actually this year. My cousin and I were very close, and we were having like a cousin movie night. And she's very much into thrillers and suspense and things like that. So I let her pick the movie, and she just was like, "Oh, this is one of the selections." And I told her, "Hey, that one, if I'm not mistaken, like got a lot of buzz, so we might want to see that one." And she went with it, and we watched it. And by the end, we were like, "Oh my!" Like we were like, "Oh my God, what did we just watch?" But it was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So. And we don't have to talk about it in order. So we can go out of order.
Okay.
Talk about it. All right. So, first question, which I feel like I already know the answer to. Did you like the movie?
Yes, I really did. I was shocked to feel like that towards the end, that I did enjoy it. It was just like, yeah, wow.
Yeah. So this movie, like, I mean, the layers, the social commentary, the topics they were tackling, and the way they were doing it.
Yeah. No, for me, right away, like well, once I picked up on like what she was actively doing at night, and the fact that it was like, to me, it was totally from like a feminist point of view. Right? Like, I don't know, like I felt like a lot of it was like female forward, and although it seemed like what she was doing was bad, it seemed, but it was also like she justified it, because ultimately it was all in honor of her friend, like of her friend's memory.
Yeah.
So it's just very complex. I don't know. Like it was,
No,
yeah.
no, we're definitely going to get into it. Lovely Laura says, such great writing. Yes,
Yeah.
I have to agree. I have to agree. So let's talk about her nightly gallops,
Yeah.
shall we say? So when I first watched this movie and I saw what she was doing, I was like, oh, you don't love your life. That is very dangerous. She's putting herself
Yes.
in very dangerous situation. You never know how people are going to react.
Yeah. Truly, truly.
But I feel like she had resolved in her mind that when we didn't realize this, when we started watching, but I feel like she was on a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so she was like, she didn't care. I feel like
Yeah.
she didn't care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if it happens, it happens, but I'm going to try to find a way to bring awareness. And the way she would speak to these guys, because she would take them home.
Mm-hmm.
No, excuse me. She would go home with them. Apologies. She would pretend to be inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw where they, in such a very clever way, put these little uh, what do you call it? Rejections
Yes.
in they were small, they were slight, like, no, you must should go home. I don't know about this. Like just enough. Just enough to where, like, we've all heard a story like that
Yeah.
before, or
Yeah.
know of that. Like, oh, well, she wasn't screaming no. Why does she have to scream no? Why does she have to scream no?
Yeah.
And it's very obvious that she's not all the way there. And when she was with McLovin, he's always gonna be
Oh
McLovin to
my
me.
God, that was him. I didn't even realize.
And she was with McLovin, and she was like, "Hey," or whatever. He goes, "Whoa, you're not." And she's like, "Drunk isn't that a good thing?" And I was like,
Yeah, that took a turn. That took a wild turn for sure.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me too, going back to the very first guy who was Adam Brody of all people,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I was like, oh my goodness. I was really happy about that. But then what caught me off guard with him, what really, like, he did not seem like he seemed like genuinely he was trying to be good to her and help her. Like, he didn't seem like he was gonna turn in the way that he ultimately did turn, which was like, the sloppy sexual man or whatever. But like, he played that so well. He went from like, I'm here to be the good guy. I'm here to do the right thing, and he flipped it, and he turned out to be exactly what she had expected he was
Yes.
gonna like be and
Yes.
do.
Yes.
He did such a good job of like playing both of those things. Like, oh my God.
And the casting was very smart. It was
Yeah.
very smart. You're picking Adam Brody. You're picking McLovin. Okay,
Yeah.
guys who have been known to be, not that way. Nice or chill
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
mild tempered. And you're showing the side, like, hey, because how many times did they say in the movie, "But I'm a nice guy"? Are you? Like,
Yeah.
is it enough to be a nice guy? Okay, a nice guy. Are you an honorable guy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have morals? Because nice people do evil stuff all the time.
I feel like what she ultimately did by always by going out with these guys or going back to their homes and stuff, for her it was like a really messed up but kind of brilliant social experiment. Like, for her,
Yeah.
I think it was like she didn't just see it as like, oh, I'm a careless girl, I can do whatever the hell I want. It wasn't even it was like, let me see what happens if like, let me see if like these guys really say they are like, let's experiment, let's see
Mm-hmm.
what happens when we go home. Do they remain decent guys, or do they turn, do they end up being, I don't know, predators or whatever, like, like, so that was interesting.
So, lovely Laura says the phrase "good guy" could be another title of this film.
It could be. Yeah, why not? Like in a way to like mock that. Yeah.
So, not to go too off topic here, but I remember listening to like a Reddit, one of those compilation Reddit, and it literally said, "Ladies, what happened when you gave the nice guy a chance?" And the freaking horror stories was wild. And I don't mean like they weren't all like, in danger horrible. Some of them were just like, oh my gosh, this, what? Like, you, nice doesn't mean anything. Nice doesn't mean anything. And again, I say, oh, you're a nice guy. Are you honorable? Do you have morals? Are you upstanding? There's the difference. Adam Brody was a nice guy, but did he have morality? Was he upstanding? He appeared to be, and then you saw that was more of a facade, like that he hid behind. Lovely says she had a mission. Yes. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about? So she was always 3 steps ahead. 3 steps ahead. Listen, I don't expect this movie to be I don't expect this movie to be loved by guys. I don't expect it to, and I understand. Okay, I understand. Okay, the only nice guy, the only true good guy they put in the film was her father. Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
And they hit you with the 1-2 okey doke. They hit you because, all right, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So when in the beginning, what was the song playing? Oh shoot. I wrote down some of the song choices and the opening credit songs. I forget what the song was playing now. I'm going to go back and listen to it.
I would have to go back to,
yeah. But when she was leaving his apartment, and she had, again, the way this movie, like, the way the cinema, the way it tricked you, it cut to her, to him realizing that she's not, inebriated. And then the next day, she's walking down the street. You see a trail of like red stuff coming down her leg and her arm. You're like, what? And then you see the jelly donut, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I thought that was interesting too, that every time she had an encounter, part of you was like, did she go to the point of like even like hurting these guys or killing them? Or did she just like leave them in shock and walk away? Like, you were always left like hanging. Like, what, like, how did that finish? How did that end? How did that result in all of that happening? Okay, the jelly donut, thank God she didn't like stab him, but that was just one of the few moments where it was like, I honestly, as a viewer, I wasn't sure if she like actually like went through and like did harm to them.
And then she added the number slash it. I'm like, she got pages of this.
Yeah, that's another thing. I was like, she has a book and she's keeping tally of all the encounters she has. To me, that's like sociopath. That's like, like, I don't know. Then again, I don't know a thing about criminal psychology, but to me, just based off of like the fact that she keeps record of it, that's like, that's intense. I don't know.
Well, as someone who has watched 6 seasons of Criminal Minds, I feel that I'm an expert. Obviously, it's the same as going to school. Obviously, her behavior is obsessive. Obsessive.
Yeah.
To the degree where she could not move past it. And I don't blame her for not being able to. It's a very difficult thing. She couldn't let go of the guilt. She felt guilty for not being there. She couldn't let it go. She couldn't let what happened go. Like, even Nina's mom said to her, like, you gotta let this go. You, like, for all of us, which tells me that the few people that were in her life, she's just been drowning and in a way pulling them with her. We see her parents who, she's almost 30 or just turned 30, and her birthday gift is a suitcase.
Yeah. That could not be more like indicative of like, please leave. Please go make a life somewhere else. Like, I mean, yeah, that was brutal.
So brutal. Because it had been, let me see, if she was turning 30 and I don't know how long they were in school, at what point they were because of it being a doctor program and everything. They were
Yeah.
like 24, if they were 25, but I would think at least 4, maybe 5 years have passed at least since everything.
Yeah.
So you figure she spent the first couple of years just in depression, probably, like just
Yeah.
really within.
Mm.
And then a way for her to pull out of it somewhat was probably the kind of hardline focus on how she could effectively, like, affect others, or, do something,
Yeah.
bring awareness.
Yeah. No, no, for sure. When it becomes clear that there's always to these I guess social experiments, or to like whatever her journey is as a character, like there's always something that triggers it, right? There's always like an event that happens that is like the main trigger of why they are the people we come to know in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when it becomes clear that it's because she's just, her friend never like, her friend ends up passing away, but her friend never like gets the justice she deserves. Like it was never, she never got like the, yeah, like the justice. She never got the peace of mind knowing that the guy that did that shit to her, excuse me for cursing, but that he never got, like, he got away with it. Like he just got away with it. And it's understandable that for her friend it depressed her to the point of her, pobrecita, taking her own life, like, because
Mm-hmm.
no one else would believe her. It's just like that, all of that, to me, as someone who, like, for me, like, my friends are my chosen family. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I see them and I would like do, and they would do anything for me. So I could easily see myself in her shoes, be like, that's my best friend, like, going through that. Like, it the way it's happening to her, it's happening to me. Like,
Yeah.
whatever happened to her, I feel it too. And to lose a friend like that, I thank God I've never lost anyone to suicide, but I can't imagine like how awful that must be, and how triggering, and how like depressed one must get. That's just gonna mess with you. That's gonna like mess you up.
And I honestly, I feel like for Cassie, if she could have left with Nina, she would have, but I feel like she in herself could not do that without making sure the people who were still here
Mm-hmm.
paid in some form or way. And
Yeah.
I think that's what kept her going, and what kept her, even her depression, kept her from following. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what kind of kept her, you know what I mean? Not that she was like, but if she could have been, that's what kept her going.
Oh, for
And I think
sure.
that's why she didn't have a problem putting herself at risk every weekend on the off
Yeah,
days, because it was like,
that became like her sole purpose
yeah,
to do that, not just for her, but for her friend, like
yeah,
in honor and
yeah,
memory of her. Yeah,
yeah.
loyal
Um,
as hell, for sure. Loyal as hell
oh my
to
gosh,
her.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, and another thing that they showed some of these guys also saying as they were, making their moves. We'll call it making their
Mm-hmm.
moves. You're so beautiful. You're so pretty. Like they had like it was like the same script. It was like, oh my gosh.
It was cringy. It was cringy
Yes.
because they all more or less flirted with her the same way, and
Mm-hmm.
you could tell like she's such a good actress, because like in her face, like what she
Yes.
emotes, like you she has like a poker face, like you can't
Yes. She's
tell
so
what the hell
good.
she's thinking. So you're like, oh, but she's seen this, but like part of you can't tell what she's thinking, but also you can tell that she's seen all this shit before.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
the thing. Like she does, yeah, she's fantastic in that. And then there was something else I wanted to mention that has to do with the little bit of comedic relief I felt that there was in the
Oh
movie.
yes. There was. There was. There was. There was.
Everything is so like dark and like and sad and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, her friend Laverne Cox, I forgot her name
Oh
in the movie.
yeah.
The moment she had with
Yes.
her, the kind of conversations they had, and just like the
Yes.
way Laverne was with her,
Mm-hmm.
like I loved that. Yeah, I thought that was like funny and lighthearted.
Now I know this would be a completely different type of movie, but I would be down for a movie with just her and Laverne Cox in their coffee shop,
Yeah.
okay, and their shenanigans, because that chemistry, that back and forth,
That
it was so
it,
good. It
it
was
was
so
so lovely to watch. It was like super entertaining. Like it
mhm,
was natural. The banter was just
mhm.
like, I don't know. They had amazing chemistry,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yes.
yeah. It was. I loved it. I love even though that was she played a small part and that wasn't like the focus of the story.
But
Um.
it was like her parts were like impactful,
Mhm.
impactful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes, Natalie, it's not about how many lines you have, it's about what you
Mhm.
do with them,
Yeah.
right?
Truly. Truly. Truly.
um, Lovely Laura says this movie was so well rounded. I can't say it enough. Well written.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. The psychology around this movie, all the stuff said, the words, the way they were done, the words. Let me see. Well, uh, somebody said he's a really nice guy. Oh, gosh. Um. Oh, oh, in the beginning with Adam Brody, and which I didn't realize on the first watch because I didn't realize he was coming into acting. But on the second watch, I saw Jack Nicholson's son. I was
Oh.
like, oh, there he is. Yeah. So he was one of the guys in the
Yeah.
beginning, and they're watching, you know, Cassie like and I think it was the other guy, the black guy. He says, they put themselves in danger, and just the way he said it, like, here's the thing. Yes, it's dangerous, right, to be inebriated in a bar, but the way he said it, the way he meant it, it came off to me as well. What happens happens.
Mhm.
They did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. That's how it came off to me.
Oh wow.
'Cause it's just the way he said it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get a chance, rewatch that part and
I'm
just
glad you
get
caught
them.
that because I didn't catch that when I saw it. But yeah, I have.
Well, here's the thing. So when I watch it for the first time in the theater, I'm just taking it all in, right? So for a hot take, I rewatch it. This time I'm like honed in, looking for things, looking
Mhm.
for what the writer intended, like trying, you know, paying attention. And that's kind of what, because everything I'm talking about, I don't catch everything on a first watch.
Yeah, yeah. No.
But this is the type of movie that, like, even though the subject matter is difficult, a rewatch does show you a lot more.
Yeah, I will say that for having only watched it that one time,
Mm-hmm.
I the overall message that the movie was putting out and the the again the feminist point of view of
Mm-hmm.
like this just of her journey throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
um I just like I ended up just appreciating that so much. Like I know that she's not necessarily like the good guy, she's not even the villain really, she's just a human, and she's settling scores and stuff, and like you take her as you will. But overall I remember like at the end of it I was like, these are the kind of stories, like female stories, like that need to be like told. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that like I've never seen anything, I have never seen a story from a female's perspective be told like that. And the fact that it exists, it's out there, and by the time it finished, I was like, you see, this is why women need to be writing and directing and acting and producing, and they need to like continue telling like stories that are true to the experience of being a woman, a girl, a lady, whatever, just these, they need to be put out there,
So, so, so,
so.
so let me tell you this. Have you watched Blink Twice yet?
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
That is the next thing that you're
Okay.
watching, Natalie. Okay.
Okay.
That was directed by Zoe Kravitz. Okay.
Oh wow.
It's starring Channing Tatum. And I'm going to say something about this movie. And when you watch it, you're going to see it in that movie.
Okay.
So the thing that I appreciate, especially when a woman is helming subject matter like this is how it is done.
Mm-hmm.
No, no knock on men. Okay, no knock on men. But
none whatsoever.
No. But this sensitive a subject, I like how it was handled this way, because I feel like if it wasn't, I can't remember the director's name right now. I'm upset that I didn't write it down here. But if it wasn't her, and this was told from a male gaze, I feel like we would get flashbacks, literally, of Nina being violated.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that was done here, it was effective, and we never got one real flashback.
In
Even
fact,
when
the video that surfaced that had her like supposed rape, well, not supposed, sorry, the rape that happened on the video, like we never saw it. We just heard, we just hear it.
We hear it,
we
and
just hear it.
Hearing is like enough. Like hearing, like
oh my
when I heard
God.
when Ryan's voice came on the
I
Natalie,
almost threw my phone. I was like, yeah.
Listen, on a second watch, I know that his voice is gonna be on it. I know this.
Yeah.
I know this. And yet my blood still runs cold every time his voice comes on when she's watching it, and the way that she's feeling, I'm feeling what she's feeling it. I'm feeling it as well. My heart is stopping with her.
That's
like
the beautiful thing about movies and cinema, like art, is that like you're not that person in that moment, but in that moment, because everything is so effective in the storytelling, you feel and you're like, you become that that character.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So based on what we just talked about, what I just said, no, remember that when you go in to watch, blink twice. And that's all I'll tell you, because the movie's so good. Anything I tell you about it will ruin it. Literally, I can't say anything else. I cannot. Okay. Lovely says, "Amen." You can clearly see the difference. Yeah, you can clearly see the difference. Yeah. So there's just certain subject matter, that like the approach is different. You don't have to. You can have the same. As a matter of fact, having my blood run cold, my heart stopping without having to see anything. It's the effect. It's how you tell the story. It's so good. You don't have to show everything. As a matter of fact, allowing our imaginations to go is, and correct me if I'm wrong, do we even get an adult picture of Nina in this movie?
You know what? I don't remember seeing her. I mean, no, there is a picture. Okay, there is, sorry, never mind. Because there is a moment where like she keeps looking at like a picture that I think is like on her mirror, and it's of a Nina only, I think, or of her and Nina.
But but they're younger, right?
They're younger, yeah. It's not like a
But that's what I'm saying. We never see Nina in college. We don't see that.
We don't see her like physically alive. Like no, we don't. We just hear about her a lot, and we make our own idea of what she is or who she is.
So, the thing about Cassie's attire, what she wears. So we know that when she goes out, she's putting on a costume. She's putting on a mask, a persona. A co-worker after work. I'll say hippie, because she kind of had the hippie, vibe with the hair, which I actually like the little colors in her hair, to be honest. I like the look.
Yeah.
So, a party girl, like different things. But when she's at the coffee shop, I find that her wardrobe is young. It's young and it's light. And I almost feel like it's young and light because she's frozen in time at that moment from when she lost Nina. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's very interesting. Yeah, that's a very good thing to know, because I don't think I observed that as much as you. I don't think I noticed that could be just like indicative of the fact that she's still stuck in that era.
So so the thing is, all right, now I know as like as a writer, as a director, like what we show you on screen, we're trying to communicate things without having to tell you. And a good story, a good movie, a good TV show will do that. It'll tell you without trying to like verbally tell you. So I tend to try to look for what they're trying to tell me. And they hair and wardrobe are big indicators of where a character is. You know, what they're doing, like, and we've seen it when here's an obvious one. A woman is going through like a breakup or like a job change or something, and she just like changes her hair completely. It's like a rebirth of sorts, showing a difference. And what I noticed is that when Cassie, the little bit of hope that they gave us in the movie, when she was with Ryan, and she was dating Ryan, the little bit of hope they gave us.
That was our little rom-com moment.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I was like, oh, this is turning into a rom-com.
It just felt so sweet. I was almost like, my cousin and I were like, are we watching the same movie?
I know,
because they were so cute. But
they were. Yeah. I know. They were, and their little back and forth was cute.
Yeah,
it was cute. Like it was so well done.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna talk a little more about Ryan.
Go ahead.
Ryan is another facet of that nice guy. He's a nice guy. He thinks he's a nice guy. He thinks highly of where he's at and of himself, and he thinks that he is a good guy. To the point where when she shows him the video, I think he tells her, I'm a good guy. I was young. We were kids or something. Which is said, like, I think at least 3 times in this film. Y'all was in college. Kids don't go to college.
No, seriously. You're grown. You can do whatever you want. Like, you live for you fend for yourself. So, like, you have no excuse.
Yeah. So him saying that, him trying to convince himself, like, you realize, wait, you are one of those guys. And honestly, that was a red flag that she had noted. Noted, because when she heard me, she's like, oh, you still talk to those guys? Here and there, and every now and then.
Yeah.
You liar! You talk to them constantly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, when that moment happens and all of that gets like revealed, and like again, he does a great job too of like similar to Adam Brody, like going from the nice guy in that moment, you see that he transitions into like, oh no, like he gets vindictive over her. He tells her like, you can't do this to me. Like you could all of a sudden, like the relationship, the love, whatever they had, goes out the window.
Yeah.
And what matters is his prestige,
is
his job,
is
him. And her, like, she could just go away. But like, what matters is when you see that switch that happens, it's like, oh yeah, nice guy, right? Like,
and he called her effing failure. He's like, yeah, you're you effing failure. I'm like, oh
yeah, yeah. He was no longer the guy she fell in love with. He's like a villain, I don't know, to turn into a villain in that moment. And it was like, well, especially the fact that he witnessed all of that stuff. So yeah.
Dorothy Newton says, are you? Yes, that was the question she asked when they said, I don't know if he asked it. He stated it, but McLovin, I think, it said, I'm a good guy, and she said, are you?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the movie did such a great job, because it's like, oh, see, he's not what you think he is. But just in case you guys are on the fence, thinking he just, decides to be friends with bad people, here comes a cop telling him that she is missing, and he does not look like he's that worried for her. And he tries to brush it off like, oh, we did it here and there, and when the cop, which I'm gonna ask you, when the cop starts to insinuate, oh well, there was indications that maybe she wasn't mentally, good, and he goes, yeah. He hops on that so freaking quick.
Oh my god,
so freaking quick. Oh, you are a butthole.
Anything to save his own butt.
Yes.
Like, again, that minute she like called him out, and she told him, you're part of the problem. You You witnessed it and you let it happen. You didn't say anything. That's it. He, like, fuck her. Excuse again the cursing,
No, you're
but
good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
said, F this, whatever, like, what, again, like, selfish, completely, I feel like A-type, very, like, no, it's like, what I say, like, what I say matters, like, what this means everything to me, this is, I put this above, like, any other person, like, all of a sudden, he just switched on us, like, and he reveals himself to be to the cop, like, total, just someone looking after himself, not caring about anybody else,
Yeah.
super selfish. Like,
Dorothy
the,
E. Newton says, no action is a reaction. Witnessing something and not saying something can just be as bad. Yes.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
yeah. Oh my God, totally. We can say that of so many things that happen out in the world,
Yeah.
And he just happens to be one of those people. Like, can you imagine? Okay, had this been happening, if he, instead of watching in amusement, which is so weird, had he done something, like, he would have prevented the girl from getting further hurt. He would have prevented the girl from eventually having committed suicide. Like, everything would have turned out so much better for everyone
Mm-hmm.
had he done the right thing in that moment. But instead, you know,
Well,
like, I don't know.
here's the thing. Lovely says he believes that she's gone. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, when the cop believes, he's like, oof, like, he believes that she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even concerned at all. And well, how many times had there been a Nina is the question.
Mm.
Nina may be the one that said something, but how many of the Ninas were there?
Yeah.
And I like kind of feel like maybe a small, maybe I honestly, I think seeing him in the video kind of broke whatever the last bit of it was for her. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if he had the reaction that the lawyer had,
Yes.
it would have meant something.
The
It would have meant
lawyer
something.
surprised me. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
The
oh my God.
lawyer was so forthcoming.
And I mean, it's Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
So, like, he, like, to have him, even again, this is the thing, everything he does, whether it's a smaller role or bigger role, like, he just leaves like an impact on you, right? Like, they know that he's like the kind of, like, he's like a statement actor. Like, he says a line and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it, like,
Yeah.
and so when he had that moment of, like, with her, when he had that moment of, like, oh my God, like, I regret, like, you should fucking murder me, you should kill me, like, I am the scum of the earth. Like, when he has that, like, Shakespearean almost kind of, like,
Mm-hmm.
do with me what you will moment, I freaking was like, I was surprised, but I was also like, this is how everyone else that she's, like, come across should react. This
Yeah,
is
not
it.
even we gonna get to my girl in a second.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to my girl. Yeah, he was okay. I think he was okay. So her dad was the only really good guy, and he
Yeah.
was the only redeemable guy
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
And he just like it ate at him. It ate at him, and it happens a lot. Like, it does happen because here's the thing. Yes, people can do, like, mean things or evil things, and seem not affected, but they're affected more than they realize, more than even they realize sometimes. And over time, who knows how many boys, men, I shouldn't say boys, pardon me, men that he he helped get off scot-free. And when he was giving her the dirt, saying there's a guy in our law firm whose sole purpose, his sole job, is to search their social media for anything incriminating, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And what's wild to me is, I think I wrote it down because it just hit me when he said it. He said all it takes is one drunk picture to make a jury hostile.
Mm.
The bar, the standard the expectations, the requirements on women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The
Going back
double
to what I said at the
standard,
beginning,
no?
they put themselves in danger. And all right, so I think we're gonna segue with that to my girl. What's her name? Madison.
Madison, yeah. Oh man.
Madison. Oh, Madison. Oh, Madison. I I almost feel like her reaction is the worst.
Okay. Oh.
Because you you're a woman. You you know how it is. You know how things go. And I'm not saying that, oh, just because you're a woman, automatically take somebody's side because they're female without knowing anything. But what I'm saying in this specific situation, like you couldn't put yourself in her shoes for 2 seconds? For 2 seconds. And her response being like, it was horrible. I tried, I just wanted to forget it was horrible. No, it was, well, she was slept around. She knows how, she shouldn't have a bad reputation. She shouldn't do this. Da 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 da. You know how it is. Blah 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 blah.
Right. You just reminded me that she basically made it seem like Nina was asking for it too.
Yes,
As a woman,
that's what I'm saying.
I yeah,
Yeah,
she was the cringiest for sure.
yeah,
Because she was no, but maybe if she had, I remember now, if she hadn't like drank as much as she did, or if she maybe wasn't around them so much or whatever, like she was for some reason justifying everything the boys did, like by saying that that's just how men are,
yeah.
and and throwing Nina to the curb, saying no, Nina, Nina just should have. So messed up. Like as a girl, like you would think there's solidarity there. There's like, there's empathy there. There's like,
Empathy. If nothing else,
yeah, there's like,
empathy.
like she's a girl too. She also would get drunk in college. She would do these things too. But it's just so ignorant, and it's so sad that she would like set herself apart and think in this way. She basically thought she was better than Nina, that Nina was beneath her, and that she's better than Nina, and people are like that, unfortunately, in life. And this character was just totally like a snob, and like she just thought like she thought she was the shit, and then she thought that people like Nina were, you know which is not true, but that people like Nina were seeking attention, right? Not that, like, victimizing themselves, which is not the case.
And
It's not what Nina was doing.
honestly, Nina was top of her class. She could have been a little jealous of Nina. And I don't like jumping on the jealousy train every time one woman criticizes another. But in this instance, it was giving a little bit like,
Yeah.
she needed to be taken down a peg.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I that's another thing that I'm glad you were just reminded me, that Nina was like the smartest one. Like the top of her class. And it's an even bigger shame that like she went through this, and that she like, dropped out of school, and all of this turned out into such a sad occasion. But yeah, that girl, yeah, you're right. She did have probably the worst thing to say,
And
I would think.
I feel like Cassie dealt with her in such a justifiable way. Now, we didn't know, because listen, when you're first watching this, you're just like, they're not showing you everything,
Yeah.
which is great. But you're like, did she just hire him to take advantage of her? Oh my God. And then you realize that, when it comes out, you're like, you're right. That wouldn't make sense for her to do that, because then she would just be as bad as the people.
Bad as the people
She
that
just,
would do, yeah.
She just needed her to feel what it felt like.
That, for me, when I saw that, and my cousin Angie was like, we were looking at each other like, do you think? No, do you? like we had this like exchange. It's like we couldn't like, we were like, that is like, oh my god, she's making her pay. Like we were dumbfounded. We were like,
Same,
but yeah, yeah, epic,
same,
epic,
same.
yeah,
Oh, and she, I wouldn't say redeemed per se, but I feel like she finally understood.
mm.
She finally understood.
Yeah,
She finally understood. Which is why she came forward about the tape. That
yeah.
she held on. Okay.
How are you?
Okay, Natalie.
Yeah,
When I first said she was the worst one, you were like, oh, okay. But the more we talk, the more you agree with me now, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
really do, because this girl had the evidence
Yeah.
that could have changed everything from the moment it happened, and because she held on to it, like not trying to incriminate this guy. Look at that. Like, she is the worst one. Like,
Ryan never saw the video because
no,
when she showed it to him, he was like, whoa, what is this?
I don't even.
I wasn't even there, and he heard his voice.
He didn't even know he was being recorded,
Yeah.
right? Back
Yeah,
then,
he didn't know.
were like so like, you know, indiscreet and small and like flip phones or whatever, so you couldn't tell if you're drinking, right? You can't tell like, oh, I'm being recorded right now. Like, you're just in a daze and you're just like whatever, like, but yeah, you're right. She's like, she had the solution this whole freaking time that like Nina has been gone and that Cassie has been doing all of it. Like, she had the answer. She had what needed to be, and she waited until this happened.
Yes.
And Cassie did this.
Because even when Nina passed away, that was enough for you to come forth with the video.
Seriously, how messed up.
She didn't want to blow up her life. She didn't want to make waves. And guess what? She was still friends with these people.
How when you know and you have the evidence, you have like the, like, how could you live with yourself like that? I don't get it. I don't know.
Listen. You know what? I don't know if I want to say this story online.
Okay.
Just
You don't have to.
It's not my story to tell, but just what I will say is the whole someone being inebriated and guys taking advantage, like at a party, I've seen. It's awesome. That's all I say. And it wasn't like never mind. Anyway,
it's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it was just hard to kind of like, you know, like just how I forget what they call that. I mean, I'm not even gonna get into that internet call, whoever, but like, it's just, she sat on it, and it wasn't until she was in that place that she thought, okay, I'm gonna come forward. And then she said, don't contact me again. Yeah. You know what? I don't blame you, girl. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I need no more, I need no more memories of that.
Yeah.
It was, first of all, when they were at lunch, just talking, and she was just talking and drinking, and then she said, I wanted to talk to you about something. Yeah, whatever. You remember Nina? Wait, like, she sobered up so fast.
Yeah.
Her mood changed. Like, she didn't sober up, but like, she changed so fast. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Woo. Because everyone had put it behind them except for Cassie.
Yeah.
Cassie.
It's insane. How people could be witness to that and then just like be like go on with their lives like nothing. I don't know. It's wild. And I'm glad Cassie didn't let it go, and that Cassie, you know, although we, you know, she's again not like 1000% like the good guy here, but the fact that she did ultimately bring justice to her friends, to her friend's dark moment, to the crime that was committed against her.
Yeah.
You know, that when that moment finally comes, it's like, oh my God, it was like, oh gosh, yes, it was satisfying, honestly, to see it all like play out like that, like to where like yeah, to where they get caught, like he gets what he deserves finally, you know? Oh my gosh.
And I think the lawyer is the only one that she forgave as well.
The only one. Remember, after like she left his house, she was gonna have, I think, someone kill him or break into his house or
No,
something.
I don't think her plan was ever to have anybody die. I
Yeah.
think she was gonna. He's probably maybe break his kneecaps or something. You know,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like one of those types.
He was
Like, you know,
do something to him, and she was like, "Forget about it. Like
yeah,
he's okay. You don't got to worry about him anymore."
yeah. Because
Yeah.
she saw how tortured he was, how regret, like he was filled with regret. He was filled with guilt. Like he couldn't even sleep. He was begging her.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like,
Another person that I think we should bring up, because I think it's one of the only ones that's left that we haven't brought up, is the dean of the school.
oh,
And that moment, that interaction, that was crazy. That was crazy to me.
I don't want to ruin a young man's life over an accusation. Sounds like I'm only thinking about the men and not the young lady.
Which is crazy because she's a female dean. You know, she's like, you would think, I don't know, you would hope and think that she would like see it from both perspectives, not just side with side.
No, listen. There are false accusations; those exist, but that's why you look into these things. That's why you take these things seriously. And it sounded like they didn't do much looking into anything.
No, yeah, super irresponsible. Like no effort. Like it's just wild. And then what Cassie does before seeing the dean, which is like talking to the daughter of the dean, and all, and then what she tells her that was insane. I was like, you better be kidding about the fact that like you're gonna like have that happen to that girl,
Right?
But of course it was just like a wicked.
It was another Madison situation, if you will. I need you to know what this feels like. I need you to know.
Exactly.
And she's like, what's the problem? You love the guys. What's the problem? You love them. What's the problem?
Yeah. Oh my god.
And when she says, relax. She's over here. She's a very nice girl. Kind of dumb. Kind of dumb though, but she's pretty. Who needs brains? Yeah. Who needs brains when you've got? And I was like,
that moment, that like interaction, her monologue, you know, leading into that, like again, like Carrie, like and this is the thing, I've heard of Carrie Mulligan. I know that she has like, you know, her accolades and stuff, but I had never really her like as a lead in anything. And when I saw this and I saw that she had all these interactions and moments and like, you know, that that she's so hard to read, but at the same time you can tell what she, like that. I was like, okay, I became a fan after this movie. I was like, I will see her in them.
Yeah, sure. I've seen some other movies of hers. Off the top of my head, I can't think of names right now, but yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Carrie. And the was it the road rage guy, the angry guy?
Oh yeah.
All right, listen. First of all, him getting angry and yelling and going off to the side, I understood that. I understood all of that. When you look over and you see her like laying on this and everything, okay, you're not letting. Wait, she's in the middle of the road. Are you okay? You good? What's going on? You alright? You know what I mean? Like, no, it's anger. It's this. It's that. It's cursing her out and everything. She could have just recovered from a heart attack or something. You don't even know. Like, what are you? Seriously? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was really hard.
It's not like she's yelling or screaming or yelling or cussing back at you. She was nonverbal. She was this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that moment, that was super heartless of him to react that way and to be like that. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I was like, come on, dude. Like, really? Like, you're just gonna, like, be offended or be butthurt over? Like, how
And
dumb.
she took her out her tire iron. And I was like, no, Cassie, no. He could legitimately be crazy too.
Yeah. No, that for me was very, like, I can't help but think of that song by Carrie Underwood, and I got my hand to
Oh!
like pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive, whatever. Where like the whole song is about like ruining her boyfriend's car because he cheated on
Yeah,
her, right?
yeah.
So
I
I
actually
don't
love
know.
that song.
My mind went there. I was like, this is a total like a Carrie Underwood like
Yeah,
moment where he's like she's destroying this man's car, but it's not because he's cheating on her. It's because he's just an asshole to her. Like
yeah.
her reasoning was being an
No
asshole to me. Like,
reason.
yeah.
Just drive around, dude. Like, what was all of that?
Oh my god. Too much.
Too much. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. So, what I found, that nobody seems. Oh, you know, before I even say that, let's talk about what's his name? Not Jerry. What was his friend's name? Joel? Is it Joel?
Is this
Like
Al's friend? Al
Jen.
the
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
the
Al's friend.
yeah, so he's the guy from New Girl, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes, he's the friend from New Girl.
yes.
I I really enjoyed that show back in the day, and I really liked how he was on that show. So
Mhm.
when I saw that he was the douchey friend or the douchey,
Mhm.
I was like, they could not have cast a better person to play
This,
that role.
I'm telling you, they purposely casted um guys who have always been in like the good guy roles or the chill roles because they wanted to subvert not only subvert your expectations but to kind of also show you, you know, these creeps come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
You know, they don't all just come screaming at you like the driver. You
yeah,
know what I mean? They
yeah.
they come in all different shapes and sizes. So what here's what I'll say. What I thought was well, I found a comedic light moment after the heaviness of Al, like, you know, spoiler alert, killing Cassie, right? Was Joe coming in there and he's like, it's okay, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Like he's coddling him. He's
Yeah.
taking I was like, oh my gosh. What is
Oh
he,
my.
your handler? Oh my God, yo, grow a pair. And he's just like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that was really absurd. Like he just like he's very maternal over him. It's
Yes,
weird. It's like
yes.
I get that they're bros and they're
Mm-hmm.
fraternity bros, whatever, but
Yeah.
like that moment, like he saw that this girl was freaking dead and he saw that his friend was alive
Mm-hmm.
and he it didn't like at all phase him that his friend killed the
No,
girl, like, and that's a bad thing. Like
yeah,
he
no,
ignored all of that and only thought of like the well-being of his friend,
yeah,
not what the heck happened, what did you do,
yeah,
well, how could you have done this,
yeah.
which says
Nope,
everything there is to say about him. He's not a good person,
no.
he's a bad person, and he knows that his friend is a bad person,
Mm-hmm.
but his friend happens to be one of the few people he actually cares about, so that's why he protects him from things and stuff. So
And when he said, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, and Al goes, thank you, I was like,
yeah,
throw the whole man away.
seriously, like we say, basura, trash.
Basura, yeah, basura. Um,
uh,
so, and that being said, what I found, the consistent theme I found throughout this whole thing was no accountability.
mm-hmm, for sure, yeah.
And and okay, so when he killed Cassie, right? If you notice, she's laying on the bed with her hands outstretched and her legs out, kind of like the body of Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice, a sacrifice. You
She
know what I mean?
did
Like,
sacrifice
yes,
herself. Oh,
she did.
did. That's it
Yeah.
right there.
My sister pointed that out to me, and I was like, "That's
Oh
it.
my God.
That's
That's
it."
you see, I didn't notice the Jesus Christ thing,
Mhm.
but ultimately she knew that if she okay, like up until the point where she like talked to Nina's mom and Nina's mom almost got her to stop.
She was. No, she had deleted. She was moving on. She was moving forward. She was. Even her dad said, "Oh, we've missed you. We got to see a glimpse of you."
Up until that point, you know, and even after that, like when she like decided to just, you know, she saw the video and she was like, "There's no way I'm going like to not do
Yeah.
anything." Always knew in the back of her head that this could cause her pain. This could maybe even kill her, but
Hmm.
was willing. She was willing to, and it's actually beautiful in a way. She was willing to sacrifice her life just to you know, validate and bring justice to her friends
Yeah.
who never was able to get that in life. So like the ultimate sacrifice, like for her friend, like it's beautiful when you think about it. It's like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
you
The
love
minute
that.
she took off the license plate and tossed it, I was like, "Oh, she knows she ain't coming back.
Yeah,
She knows
yeah,
she ain't coming back."
yeah. Insane. But it is that she ultimately did sacrifice her own life just to make things right for her friend back, you know, back here like
Yeah.
in this planet. And man, who even like does that anymore? You know, like that's insane. That's
And then how about Al trying to come off as a good guy?
oh,
Oh no, guys.
oh
Oh, I love my fiance. Blah
not a
blah blah.
surprise.
Da, da, da.
Not a surprise. It made him even cringier. And it wasn't a surprise that he was gonna go with that whole like facade of like, oh, but yeah, that was me in college, but now I'm like perfect, you know, like I've redeemed myself and I have the perfect wife and I'm the good guy. Like I promise, I've always been like such bullshit. But he played it so well though, because like
Yes.
he made you feel like this guy's the biggest like bullshitter. Like I just want to like slap him because he's like he has it. He's still the same guy who did that to Nina. Like ultimately, he's still the same person. He's just,
Mhm.
you know, he has more money now and he has
And the crazy thing is, if you heard Joel had done it, you would have been like, huh, "Of course he did."
yeah. Oh, for sure.
But the, but,
He
but you know what I'm saying? And that's the trick of it.
yeah.
That's the trick of it.
Truly, truly. No, really, like you're right, Joel. Like immediately comes across like he has the face and the personality. Unfortunately, the personality type of someone who would go as far
You,
as
you could believe it. Like, you
girl.
could believe it. You
Yeah,
could believe it. You
you
could believe it.
would.
Yeah.
But this Al guy, like, yeah, he at that point he was just like faking it till he was making it, and he didn't make it.
Nah, I
They
didn't.
cleared. Thank goodness he didn't make it,
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah, there is that contrast for sure.
When Ryan got those text messages from her, those scheduled text messages,
You
once the cop was showing up, I was like,
you know that felt
take a
when
bow.
that entire scene and the music and like the way everything like unpacked after that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
it felt like to me,
Mm-hmm.
like movie ending wise? Okay, so I'm a really big fan of the movie Cruel Intentions. And like you know how at the end of the you know how at the end of the movie, like shit like Sarah Michelle Gellar gets destroyed and like all of
Yes,
this it felt like that, didn't it? It had like it wasn't the
yes.
same vibe of like comeuppance or like revenge or like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it had very that like bittersweet symphony, like oh
Oh, you
shit,
thought we was done?
all of a
You thought I
sudden,
was
like
done?
yeah,
You thought you got away with it? You thought,
you thought
yeah.
like that dying that it was over. No, now like everything's gonna like come apart and like you see how like Sarah's like ugh, like she's like destroyed. She oh my god, the whole thing.
And
Like to me, it was
Ryan
very similar.
never asked the guys about Cassie. He never asked.
It's true.
He didn't want to know. He was relieved she was gone. He was glad she was gone. Because he's not a good guy. He just thinks he is, which is dangerous.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now even more paranoid to like today. Oh my
gosh. Yeah. So it is a movie, so that they, but it does what it does. It packs a bunch of truths into one movie. So this isn't necessarily something that one person's going to experience all of this, but it needed to kind of touch multiple people, multiple subjects and topics. So they had to put it in there. So it's like you can feel good knowing that going and watching this movie, you can safely root for her dad.
Yeah, you can. At least he's the one exception. Of all the guys in the movie, he's like the like, okay, he's good. He's he's legit.
He's legit. Oh man. Any final thoughts on A Promising Young Woman?
For me or for the people that are commenting?
You.
Overall, I'm so glad that it just happened to be that like my cousin and I chose the movie. We did not know what to expect, but honestly, by the end, even though I was like, man, we lost Cassie, I was really satisfied with how everything like turned out, and like finally like we got the bad guy, and like we ended like like the purpose of everything Cassie did. It was like it was done. It was paid for. Like so I was happy with it. I really enjoyed it, and
same and how she went there with her Nina heart, and she left her Cassie heart for Laverne Cox.
She did. That was beautiful. I noticed that, and that was a very beautiful, sentimental gesture moment. Truly. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate this conversation.
Of course.
Our talk.
I've had a wonderful time.
Yes, me too. And hopefully you're open to doing this again in the future.
Totally.
Perfect. Perhaps next time we'll open with the song.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I didn't have the song ready. But yes, I promise by next time. I will have a snippet of song. I promise.
Okay, next time for sure. Thank you so much again. Make sure you guys follow Natalie. Natalie Nadarce.
No, that's it, but you can say
Nadarce. Okay, I was going to say Darce. I was going to say it. Dog nabbit. Trust your gut.
Okay. It's
all right.
Unique last name for a Latino, but it's Noladse, or you could just say N too. Like, it's fine. I get called Miss N by my kids. So.
Lovely Laura says, now I need to go watch Cruel Intentions. Girl, me too. Me too. That's another one. That's another good one.
That is such a good.
Okay. So she's gonna watch that. You're gonna watch Blink twice, and you're gonna message me. You know what? I'm not. You are gonna want to message me when you watch it.
Okay, I promise you. I promise.
And I watched it. I think I watched it 5 or 6 times in last year. Every time I watch it, new stuff. Like there's so much stuff that you missed. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited for sure. It's on my list.
All right. You take care. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Taking a break next week again. And have a wonderful night, guys.